Hello friends, welcome back to Technique, and today we'll be doing the camera review of the newly launched Poco X6. So Poco X6 along with the Poco X6 Pro has launched two devices in the X6 series. Now Poco X6 Pro, we have done a really good device in terms of camera experience and solid performance. So how good is the Poco X6? This is priced starting around 19,999 including card offers. So how good is the device for this price segment? This device comes with Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 chip, and you get a 64 megapixel triple camera setup. So let's see how good the camera experience is on the Poco X6. So before going into the video, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's first talk about the hardware. Now this is a 64 megapixel omnivision sensor. It has optically made stabilization, then you get an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, then a 2 megapixel macro sensor. So that's the typical 64 megapixel shooter we have seen on the Poco X6 Pro as well. Now on the front panel you get a 16 megapixel selfie camera. So that's the camera hardware of the Poco X6 Pro. So let's go straight into the camera samples to see how it performs. So let's begin with the daylight captures. In terms of daylight conditions, you can see that the Poco X6 offers pretty good amount of details. The sky colors are pretty good. The color reproduction as such looks pretty natural, and although there is a bit of contrasty nature to the images, it's quite good. The dynamic range is decent, and it's quite okay, but it's not as good as the Poco X6 Pro. Now the sharpness levels are also quite good. This is evident when you zoom into the pictures, and overall the clarity looks okay. The sharpness levels are once again quite acceptable at this price segment. Now colors are definitely good. That's one thing which we really liked compared to the Poco X5 series. The color reproduction is more natural looking, and the dynamic range is quite decent overall. Now looking at the ultra wide angle camera, this again produces similar results as the primary camera. The colors are very natural and almost as good as the primary camera, and there is decent amount of sharpness for a 8 megapixel shooter. So that's the ultra wide angle camera. Now moving on to the close-up shots, once again the colors are pretty good. There is good amount of details. The sharpness levels are quite acceptable, although we feel it could have been a tad better. Now there is also a macro capture. The 2 megapixel macro is kind of very much average. The details are quite okay, but the colors are not really that impressive. Overall it's a decent performer. Now in terms of the portraits, you could see that the skin tones are pretty good, but the background HDR doesn't make that good. You can also see that some results, some background effects are blown out. While the skin tones are good and edge detection feels very good, the dynamic range needs to be fixed, and it needs a bit more fine tuning. But overall we feel portraits have done quite a good job, especially with the edge detection. Now moving on to the low light captures, you can see that in indoor lighting condition there is decent amount of details on offer, and if you move on to the extreme low light, you can clearly see that the sharpness levels is not that impressive. So there is a good effort to keep the noise low, and it succeeds in a decent way. But again the low light captures could be better. It's not a class leading performer in terms of low light, but it is kind of an average experience overall. So that was a low light experience of this device. Let's move on to the selfie camera. This is one area where we like the selfie camera. The skin tones are very nice, and the overall quality of the selfies looks good. The dynamic range is pretty good again, and overall color reproduction also looks pretty good. So selfies we definitely liked on the Poco X6. Now in terms of portrait selfies, once again it's quite good, but the edge detection is not perfect. You can see that a lot of missed edges in the portrait photography. Now moving on to the video recording. Now this is the 4K 60 FPS footage with OIS and EIS. The footage is extremely stabilized and looks very good in terms of the overall stability with the OIS and EIS combination. But the contrast is on a slightly higher side, and the dynamic range is decent. I would say nothing great. It could have been a tad better overall, but the stabilization works very good. Now it's the same case with 1080p 60 FPS footage. Once again very stable footage. Although the contrast seems slightly higher and the dynamic range could have been better. Now once again the 1080p 30 fps footage also has the same results as that of the 4K video. It is definitely good in terms of stabilization and works pretty well. Now the ultra wide angle camera can produce the decent results. The colors are quite good. The stabilization is once again done pretty good. So it's quite a decent 1080p footage for ultra wide. So this is the 1080p 60 fps footage taken using the Poco X6 which can record maximum at 1080p 60 fps, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output from the video. So that is the camera review of the Poco X6. Now looking at the camera, the primary camera, the 64 megapixel shooter, does a quite good job in daylight conditions. Even ultrawide, it was also quite good. The color consistency between ultrawide and the primary camera was quite good, and the primary camera also did a pretty good job in terms of color reproduction. The sharpness is quite acceptable, I would say. Again, could be a tad better. The close-up shots also came out pretty good. The portraits are good, but the dynamic range is probably something which needs a bit more fine tuning, especially in harsh background. The dynamic range was not that great, especially the blur, but the edge detection and the skin tones were pretty good. Now low light performance, I would say it's slightly above average category, not a class leading performance. Again, decent results you would get in low light condition, especially with the night mode turned on, but it could be fine tuned a bit more. Now selfies are once again good, and the video recording is okay-ish for the most part in terms of colors and stabilization. So overall, I would say the Poco X6 is quite a capable camera. It may not be a stellar performer, but it won't disappoint most of the users with quite a good experience overall, especially in terms of daylight conditions and portraits, and also selfies where it definitely works well. But low light definitely needs a bit more fine tuning. So that was the experience with the Poco X6 camera. So what do you guys think about the cameras on the Poco X6? Do let us know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Normal signing off with a camera review of the Poco X6. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.